my goodness, Lego, you're getting unbearable. You're never going to stop talking about the Hughes trade. Yeah, I know. Vancouver traded their captain. Please give us a week to grieve and to make videos about it over and over again. Not because I'm exploiting it for YouTube views, but because there are so many different things to talk about. Like, I'll say this one more time. If we were to make one singular video about every prevailing thought, commentary, topic, idea, and conversation that has come up over the past 24 hours in regards to Vancouver Canucks defenseman, captain, traded to Minnesota, Quinn Hughes, that video would be like, 6 hours long? There are so many things to dive into. And that includes the trade that did happen, the trades that could have happened, the trades that were hypothesized, and the trades that were straight up rejected. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the trade that Vancouver ended up making with the Minnesota Wild. Quinn Hughes got sent over to Mini for a first-round pick, Zeev Buium, Marco Rossi, and Liam Ogren. We already spoke about this trade in the previous video. How the Detroit Red Wings may have had a difficult time trying to match this package. But, courtesy of our friend Jimmy Murphy, who writes for RG.org, he went out there and gave us what the Washington Capitals' proposed trade price would have been for Quinn Hughes, and a trade that was supposedly rejected at the hands of the Canucks. Take a look at this tweet here. I'm hearing the Washington Capitals and the Vancouver Canucks discussed Connor McMichael, Cole Hutson, a prospect, and 2 firsts for Quinn Hughes. But in my opinion, the Canucks got a better haul from the Minnesota Wild. Now, this is a super intriguing dissection of assets here because, honestly, if you look at it piece by piece, there's a similarity here between what it is the Capitals were offering Vancouver and what the Canucks actually got from Minnesota. Let's take a look at the one-to-one direct comparisons, shall we? So obviously the easy one to make is Connor McMichael, 24-year-old center, 6 feet, 187, Washington Capitals guy. He was a 25th overall pick back in 2019. And he was really interesting because Connor McMichael exploded the very next year after he was drafted. He had 102 points in the OHL in 52 games as an 18-year-old. He then continued to progress, and he produced 57 points last year with the Caps, including 6 points in 10 playoff games, 26 goals, 31 assists, very good for a 23-year-old young center. Now, this year, unfortunately, McMichael is on pace for fewer points than he had had. The fact that the Washington Capitals have been an absolute wagon the past 2 years really lends itself well to young guys in the system who are trying to get production and get their names out there like Connor McMichael has because of the past 2 years. But here's the thing. Marco Rossi has arguably done the exact same thing, and he's arguably been better. Now, disregard the draft seasons. These guys were both born in 2001. Connor McMichael drafted 2019, Marco Rossi drafted 2020. Rossi happened to have been a little bit older because he was one of the oldest players in the 2020 NHL Draft. Had he been born just, 8 days earlier, he would have been eligible for the 2019 draft with Connor McMichael. But Marco Rossi, despite the fact that he was a little bit of a late birthday, he still was the most productive CHL player. That season where Connor McMichael had 2 points a game, yeah, guess what? Marco Rossi was over 2 points a game in that season's worth of OHL play. Rossi had 60 points in 82 games played last year with the Minnesota Wild and 40 points the year before that. This year he is on pace for about 52, but that's in 68 games because he's been on the IR. He hasn't played since November 11th here. But Marco Rossi has been very productive, and as a young center with still a lot of development to go through, this guy, I'd honestly go out there and say he has 70, 75, maybe even 80-point potential once he reaches his prime as a pure playmaker, instinctual play reader, and a beautiful passer. Now, let's go over to some of the other assets here. Cole Hutson was discussed as a potential trade piece for Vancouver. Well, Cole Hutson happens to be the younger brother of Lane Hutson. And Cole is even scarier because he's kind of had better results versus Lane in the NCAA. Way over a point per game for BU, as was his older brother. But the thing is, he is still a prospect in college. Last year, Cole Hutson had 48 points in 39 Boston University games. But guess what? Zeev Buium also was able to produce quite a lot. Now, I will admit, Cole Hutson did produce better points than Buium did. They had the same points. Buium did it in 2 more games played. Also, when it came to the World Juniors, hey, guess what? Buium had 6 points in 7 games. Cole Hutson had 11 points in 7 games. So Cole technically is a more productive defenseman. But the pedigree, Zeev Buium was a 12th overall pick. He's a guy that a lot of folks said, hey, why in the world is he available at 12th overall? That guy should have been available or should have been taken a lot earlier. Cole Hutson had to get drafted in the 2nd round. He's a little bit smaller. So I'm willing to say that these prospects are comparable, if not equal. But you could also debate that Zeev Buium, with the draft pedigree that he has, plus the proven track record of consistent winning, puts him above a guy like Cole Hutson. Especially since Buium has been good with the Minnesota Wild this season, on pace for 37 points in a lineup that is really loaded with defense and on a team that's been a wagon, that's been consistently winning, with not really much time or space to give to developing guys. I can understand if you can say Zeev Buium is untapped. There's more to this guy's game, and hopefully we'll see that with the Vancouver Canucks. Going back over to the tweet, though, if Vancouver ended up getting a prospect, let's just say a prospect is similar to a Liam Ogren, and 2 firsts for Quinn Hughes, it is interesting, but I do think the Canucks did get a better haul from Minnesota. It would have been very slightly better because 2 firsts is better than 1 first. But the progression of Marco Rossi versus Connor McMichael, and how you could very well say that Zeev Buium is a more valuable piece than Cole Hutson, it does balance out the discrepancy that 2 firsts has versus 1 first. So Vancouver rejecting this Washington trade makes a lot of sense in my mind. But hey, guess what? This isn't even it. We have more to talk about. Take a look at what Jimmy Murphy replies here. A source said to me earlier today, remember Scott Young, the Canucks assistant coach? He was the director of player personnel for the Canucks for the last 3 seasons before he jumped behind the bench. He was based part-time in Massachusetts, where he's from, to not just scout, but to also watch his son Tyler, who was playing for Merrimack in Hockey East for the last 3 seasons before going to North Dakota in the portal last summer. He saw a lot of Ryan Leonard in Boston College, and last season, Hutson at BU. I don't think the Caps will move Ryan Leonard, but I think Hutson with McMichael, another prospect and picks, could make it happen. Yeah, no, Ryan Leonard, I think if that guy's included, you're looking at a slam dunk trade idea if Vancouver was able to get him, but, you know, for whatever reason, the Capitals didn't want to trade away their best young player. Why? The Wild did that, and they got Quinn Hughes. Look at you, Washington, all high and mighty with Ryan Leonard still on the team and Connor McMichael doing his thing. Okay, I'm not bitter. I'm very happy to see Vancouver get these assets here. Sure, it sucks to trade away Quinn Hughes, but considering the circumstances, I'd say that this package is a pretty good one. You can let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Which package would you have preferred? Vancouver's actual package of Zeev Buium, Marco Rossi, Liam Ogren, and a first, or this proposed package of Connor McMichael, Cole Hutson, another prospect, and 2 firsts, all for Quinn Hughes. Caps fans, Wild fans, let me know your thoughts in the comment section as well. I hope you enjoyed this video. And bye.